everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Guilds of the North, the live stream, or the battle report in this case. I'm Paul, and I'm here with Steve. We'll be doing a little head-to-head matchup, rematch of my fish versus his hunters. Hey Steve, how's it going?
Very good. Yeah, we're gonna do another one of those match report for you, and I'm still sticking with the hunters. So
yeah, and here in the video report, you can see that we're doing our blind bid for the captain, mascot, and guild identity cards.
Yeah, because at first you said no bother with that and everything, and then you went all sneaky on me and decided to do a proper draft and do everything in the correct manner.
Well, it's because you nag at me that I don't do things the right tournament way. So
yeah, look at you becoming the tournament player, Mr. Casual.
Yeah, not likely, Steve. I think tournaments are safe from having to deal with me, for the most part. All right, so.
And for captain, I went with Theron, and my mascot was Fahad. And for the guild identities, I opted for winter training.
Yeah, and having learned absolutely nothing from our last matchup, I chose Corsair as my captain, with Salt as my mascot, and once again, my GIC is Slippery Fishes, which I think may be too good.
Yeah. So
here's our initiative roll.
And it wasn't a tie? Surprise?
Yeah, and as usual, you lost.
As usual.
Yeah.
One of those days I'll manage to be able to receive on the stream.
You know, I'm not sure, but I don't think you won a single initiative this whole game. Maybe in the last turn. I don't remember.
I think I got a couple, but not much.
Yeah. The initiative doesn't like you. Your dice like you for everything else, though, so it balances out. It's okay.
And so for players, I went with Hearn, J-Car, and Zarola.
Yeah.
For the other. And Minx.
And Minx, yes. Can't forget Minx. I chose the Hag, Vet Siren, Grayscales, and the Kraken.
Release the Kraken!
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of addicted to that knockdown on one. It's a lot of fun.
And you actually never did release the Kraken in the game.
No, I never rolled that many successes. Ever. Ever. Even needing like twos, it never happens.
So I'm going for setting up my player, and I've decided that Theron is going to be my kicker. And I'm measuring because I wanted to be sure that Zarola was able to reach that forest since she's light-footed, and I have the winter's training, so it's going to give her 2 more inches of movement.
It's all about those couple extra inches, Steve. I keep telling you.
Exactly.
Here I am lining up my players in no particular order. I think the only choice I made there was making sure Kraken was somewhere near Vet Siren for the defense boost, but I'm not conniving enough to actually do a proper placement. I rely a lot on luck in this game. Just throwing it out there.
Theron kicks on the right of the screen, trying to get it away from the good player. I managed to re-roll it, and I get quite a nice kick, short kick. And here we can see all the lineup for all the players and scenery we used as well. So at the top, I have Zarola, J-Car, Minx, Ern, Fahad, and Theron.
Yeah. And I've got Jack, Salt, Corsair. That doesn't look right. I think the overlay was wrong, Steve.
It's okay. I'm going to correct it.
Oh, okay. Then ignore that, listeners. You never saw it. So,
and so you start off with Grayscale?
Yeah, sorry. Derailed me, Steve. All right, yeah, so influence allocation. We didn't actually go over that.
No.
So I go 2 to Salt, 4 to Corsair, 2 to Vet Siren, 2 to Grayscales, and 2 to Kraken. And then I select Grayscales go first. I do a sneaky where did he go? To dive over behind that fountain.
Yeah.
And then a little sprinty to go and grab the ball and then bring it back a little bit towards my lineup.
And then you realize you don't have influence to get rid of said ball.
Yeah, I killed the ball on myself on turn 1. It was great. And I forgot to drop it. So this is why I'm learning how to play this game.
So I'm starting with Theron. He drops his forest so Ern can teleport later on. And he had 5 influence. Ern has 3 and Jakar had 4 influence. So Theron Sunstrike himself. And since everybody is far away, he's going to do some pew-pew. And I start with sniping Kraken. So I managed to hit him, snares him, and 2 damage goes on to 1 because of the tough eye. Then I tried to snipe Veteran Siren, but I miss, unfortunately. Oh, no, I did it. Okay, sorry. And I got her as well. And then I use Blessing of the Sunfather on myself, so I can do it on Hag as well. And it's another success. So pretty much, and I pinned Hag. So pretty much everybody I was trying to snare is snared on your side.
Yep. So here Hag activates and uses Fisher's Reel to move up Corsair a couple inches for free.
And then I go with Ern, who teleports. I use the forest laid down by Theron. Then he uses before he uses Blessing of the Sunfather on Zarola as well.
Yeah. That's such an incredibly powerful ability, that teleport.
Yeah, it gives him a bit of mobility. And since I have Winter's training, I'm even faster than before. So I move up and I try to attack Corsair, poke him a bit. I do a singled out, and then after I'm able to do a momentous 3 damage. And then with the singled out, my last attack, I'm able to do a momentous skewer. So he's snared as well. Snares for everybody again.
Yep, snares for days. All right, so here's Kraken. Now, he's incredibly slow, and I have no momentum to clear that, so I start realizing there's not much I can do, except maybe put some hurt down on Hearn. So I'm lining up here. I walk over, and then I throw my harpoon at him for 2 influence, manage to tag him with it, and I drag him into everyone's melee.
Yeah, because Kraken is such a sexy beast, he drags.
That's right.
And on my part, I go with Zarola, and she will do a midnight offering on Jakar. So Jakar is able to move quite a lot because he's light-footed, and again with the Winter's training, he moves just standing on the forest, and Zarola do the same. She moves to the other forest, and she can move quite a bit for 7 inches total because of the forest. So that's not too bad.
Yep. So here I decide to activate Corsair, and he's going to start putting some hurt on Hearn. So my first attack, I get a momentous knockdown, which is always nice. And then on that second attack, I think I wrap. I think I do a momentous 3 and a push, which is always nice.
Yeah, because on the 2-1, it's kind of easy to do.
Yeah.
And a couple of assists, so now you have more assists.
That's right. And here I get it doesn't help me, though, because my dice rolls are terrible. So here I get a momentous 2. And then I followed up with another lousy roll and another momentous 2.
And then it's my turn. I will go with Jakar, who decides to charge Kraken to try to maybe bounce off and try to go to Grayscale. So I charge him, and I'm able to do a lots of damage because he's only at 3-0, but 2-0 because of the snare.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able to do a momentous 2 damage and a double dodge, and then another momentous 1 damage and a dodge. So with all those dodges, I'm able to go back to J-Car. And I buy an attack on him after placing the trap next to him.
They go to grayscales, you mean?
Yeah, grayscale, sorry. And then I'm able to bonus time, and I get momentous 2 damage and a push dodge. So I'm able to proc the trap, and I attack again. Now he's snared and bleeding. And I manage to tackle the ball. And then I do my sneaky back to the shadow and go out of the way, so you cannot do much. But
here comes the salt, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what he had on him, but I know it wasn't much.
Well, he had
had 2.
Yeah, he had 2.
So I think I decided I had to go for the charge.
Yeah, that's what you did. You charged with salt.
Don't mock me, Steve.
And we can see he's really far. Actually, that's why you needed to charge, though, because
yeah. Well, and everyone else was, I had other plans for, or they were snared and whatever. They couldn't get to you anyway.
Yeah.
So their salt goes.
I did a defensive stance.
Yeah, but I still managed to score the 2 successes I need to tackle the ball
and a counter attack.
Yeah. Which, if I'm not mistaken, you tackle it back.
Yeah, I managed to get it back. Prevent that mistake from happening. Fahad, who decided to charge through an empty space and to go on the fast ground.
Yeah. So here goes Vet Siren. And I'm torn at this point. I'm pretty sure I was like, do I try to go and get that ball, or do I pummel Hearn? Because, pummeling Hearn's always fun. It makes me feel like I'm a butcher too.
Well, he was kind of softened by Kraken and Corsair.
And Corsair, yeah.
But you do Shadow like.
Yep, exactly. I move her up, do the 1 inch, and I attack, and I get a Dread Gaze proc.
Yeah. I do a counter attack.
Dread Gaze, yeah. Now at -2 dice.
Yeah,
well, actually,
-3 because -2 for gaze and salt, but I didn't accomplish anything meaningful.
Yeah. And there's my second attack, and I tackle that ball back.
Minx
momentous tackle.
Charges in the forest. That's the end of the turn.
Yeah. And clock looks pretty good. I'm actually ahead of you.
Yeah.
At this point. And this is important because at one point something happens and the clock goes horribly wrong for me.
And there you won the initiative.
Yeah, I won again. So I put 0 on Salt, 4 on Corsair, 0 on the Hag, 3 on Vet Siren, 4 on Grayscales, and 1 on the Kraken.
For my part, I went 6 on Theron, 2 on Zarola, 4 on J-Car, and 0 on Minx, and 0 on Fahad as well. Couple of blank space I'm gonna cut.
There we go. All right, so I decided to lead in with Vet Siren. She will first pass the ball to Grayscales. This is a tricky play for me because I never successfully passed the ball ever. Which is ridiculous as a fisherman player, but happens all the time. And then I buy an attack on J-Car. And if I'm not mistaken, I will proc Dread Gaze here.
Probably.
Which is always fun. Momentous Dread Gaze. And then I buy a last attack, and I get a momentous push dodge.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't counter, because you have too many dodges, and I'm only 1 inch melee, so
yeah,
I didn't take any chances. So I start with Theron, and I place my forest, and we can notice I forgot to switch the camera as well. which I usually do. So
Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't matter that much. Actually, because we're very much clustered, it kind of works.
yeah.
So I won't worry too much about it.
So I start with stun striking myself, and then with good marker, I'm able to pin Grayscale, but I miss, unfortunately. And I try to snipe Grayscale, and which succeed. So he's -2 kick, so that's gonna be relevant later on, maybe. Then I move Theron, and he attacks Corsair, and I get a momentous double push. So I try to disengage and protect a bit Arn. And then I do a blessing of the Sunfather on Arn. So he can do something else later on.
All right. And here we go with Corsair. First thing I do is I clear all my conditions because, Steve is king of conditions.
King of Snare.
Well, king of snare, that's true. So I get that out of the way. And then I walk over and attack Hearn, because that's what Corsair does. So first I score 2 momentous damage and a push. Then I get a wrap here, so I have 2 momentous damage and a push. And then another 2 damage, non-momentous. And then last attack I get 3 momentous. And then I
Take out
Hearn. Ha! And then I finish up by putting a stand firm on Kraken, just because I had some influence left.
And to not have the influence of shame.
Exactly.
So I start with JCar, and I try to attack Vet Siren. I get 1 damage and momentous dodge. You do counterattack?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I missed that, actually, when I was watching the game. Well, grayscale counters, right? And then I pull a dodge out of the melee.
My goal here is to try to bounce to grayscale because you have unpredictable movement and I only have 1 inch melee. So there we go. I succeed, and then I buy my last attack on grayscale. You do a counter attack.
Yep.
I don't know what you probably a dodge. Yeah, you did a dodge.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah, I dodge out of your melee.
Double dodge out of me, and then after you did your dodge, I placed the trap to try to,
because that's what you do.
Yeah, try to make you suffer if you try to leave my range.
But there's a fatal flaw to that.
Yeah, Kraken.
Yep. And then remember to switch the camera. It's important to note that last activation, when I activated Corsair, I realized that I gave back the wrong guild plot cards. So my hand is completely useless. So here Kraken walks over and procs the trap.
Yeah.
So he takes 1 for the team there. And then I buy an attack on the man's harassing my buddy Grayscales. And I score a momentous knockdown because I got more than 1.
Right, it's easy. There, I free charge with Minx on the Ag because she's not scared of her because of the Furious charge, and I managed to do 3 damage and a double dodge, and then I do a back to the shadow, so I'm able to go and dodge into Grayscale's melee zone to bother him.
That's right. Everyone's bothering poor Grayscales. Goodness. So Hag activates Shadow Legs for 2 inches. And then she Fisher reels Grayscale to dodge him 2 inches up.
Yeah. And then I have Fahad, who's going to free charge again.
Someone who's out of reach.
Yeah, someone who's out of reach, but in line of sight, just to get more movement for free. And I get a lot of movement because of the fast ground, but I'm checking if I can reach, but I couldn't reach anybody.
I'm so glad we use these precise measuring tools so we can do sloppy plays like I just saw. I do the same thing, but it's funny. Like, yeah. measure out everything precisely, then we kind of fumble the model at the end and mess it up anyway. It's good times. So here I'm trying to figure out what to do with grayscales. And I think, yeah. So I'm looking to see if I can make a goal run. And grayscales is just a little too old.
And he's snared.
Well, snare I can clear.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not the problem. The problem is that I just don't have that range. So first I do a where did they go? And using my guild identity card, I get 6 inches on that instead of 4. So that pops me up the field out of Minx's melee.
You remove the snare.
Yeah. So I cleared my my stuff.
And I think
now I'm looking. Yep. Go ahead.
It's at that point we kind of realized when we were measuring and everything that you were snipe, which means you had -2/-2 kick, and that's why you couldn't reach the goal and score
right.
that turn.
Yeah.
And we see I changed the measuring stick for a 4 instead of a 6 because you're down to 4, unfortunately. So then you just poke the cat.
Yeah, so I buy some attacks. I get a momentous dodge, and then I buy another. And I'll get another momentous dodge here.
And yeah, you just farm some momentum of Fahad.
That's right. And then in the end, I realize that there's really nothing I can do. Like, I'm not getting to that goal. There's just no way. Because I have nothing left, so I just run up, get some cover, and pray.
Then Zarola doesn't have much to do, so she just moves up and walks, and then just throw her chain bola at Grayscale to put him back snared.
Salt looks adorable. That's my activation. All right, so this is now turn 3. And if we look, I am now 7 minutes down on clock. It's not good.
Well, Grayscale took a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
Shiv, you still win again.
Yep. So I'm going to allocate, and I allocate 0 to Salt, 4 to Corsair again, 0 to Hag, 2 to Vet Siren, 4 to Grayscales, and 2 to the Kraken.
I go with 6 on Theron, 3 on Zarola, and 3 on Ern, and none on Jakar, and none on Fahad and Minx.
Yeah. So here I'm going to activate Grayscales, because he's got the ball and a bunch of influence. So it seems like a good plan.
Yeah, you just measured the 2 inches to Zarola to try to generate some momentum because you don't have.
That's right. Yeah, because I won the initiative, so I have nothing to be able to kick with. So first up, I'm gonna where did they go? Into melee range with Zarola, and then I buy an attack, and I get
momentous.
I get momentous dodge.
Yeah.
Yep. So I take that, and then I'm gonna
farm another one.
Yep. No, I don't actually. I think I only farmed the one.
Oh, maybe you use decoy?
I use decoy. That's exactly what I did. And then I kick for the goal, and I score.
Quite easily, because you were tapped in.
I am 10 minutes behind on clock.
But you're 6-0 on points. And I use
That's true.
Super Fan to give the ball directly to Zarola.
Yep.
So it's the first time I use that card because I was really stuck with bad cards.
Well, not as bad as mine. I had all the takeout cards for my fish because I gave away all the good ones.
And I use another free charge on the Ag with Minx, and I get 2 momentous damage and a dodge, and then I dodge back into the shadows.
Yeah, because you're a slippery bugger. So here's Vet Siren. She is going to walk up a little bit and buy an attack. She does wrap, gets a momentous push dodge and a momentous push. And then here we go again, and that's a momentous push dodge.
Then I go with Fahad, who free charge as well, the Ag, but now she's snared, so I can take advantage of isolated target. So I'm able to do Momentous 3 and a dodge, Momentous 1 and a dodge. So with the augmented damage, it does 5 damage to her.
Man, and Hag is really hurting at this point. So here goes Corsair. He spends a lot of his time doing nothing but standing on that line and beating people. That's what I noticed watching this game in retrospect. I should probably make better use of him.
Well, there, see, he crosses the line and attack captain on captain action.
That's right. So we get first attack is 1 damage, and then I whiff and nothing, and then I get a momentous knockdown. So that's always good. And then I score 2 damage, not momentous.
And then I retaliate with my own captain. So he clears his condition using momentum. Placing my forest first, of course. Because always need to use the forest.
Because you're cheating.
Planting.
Planting.
So he moves up and buys an attack on Corsair.
Yep. You got quite the stack on him, so.
Oh, no, actually I did a Blessing of the Sunfather and shot the Ag to take her out.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I attack Corsair.
Adding insult to injury, yes.
I knocked you down, but you're sturdy, so you stand right up. And then I attack again, and then you do a counterattack.
That's right.
But you do nothing.
I don't think anything happens.
No.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to finally knock you down.
And then it's victim stats.
Well, after that, I do a Momentous 2, Momentous 3, and a Momentous 3 damage. So I'm able to.
Thank God I have Tough Hide.
Yeah, exactly. We're Tough Hide, so it didn't produce as much damage as it would have normally done.
So here goes the Kraken. I line up that charge. I'm going to bring the pain train.
Oh, did you charge?
I totally charged.
Oh, okay.
And then I miss. All those dice, leading 1, and I miss. Yeah.
And J-Card
does nothing.
J-Card just stand up and plays the trap.
Yeah. Salt looked adorable. Now it's back to her.
I have Earn, who sprint in base-to-base contact with a grayscale, because you've used just if you decide to use unpredictable movement.
Yep, which I do.
And then you cheat because you use slippery fishes, and I'm out of reach.
That is correct.
So I just skewered him for 3 damage because why not?
Yeah, well.
And then I'm up with Zarola, and I'm able to surprisingly take out Grayscale, who was pretty much down to not much help.
Nothing. Yep. He'd been taking a lot of abuse.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to see, can I score with Zarola? Unfortunately, even with sprinting and everything, I'm unable to do it.
And the fast ground and all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't play well. I forgot I should have done Blessing of the Sunfather on her, so she could have moved and then walked and everything. So instead, she just walks and Chain Bola on Kraken. That's the end of the turn.
Yep. So there we go. We roll for initiative. And I win again. So I'm going to allocate to
I won that turn.
Oh, you won that turn?
Yeah, I won that turn.
Oh.
Finally.
For some reason I thought you rolled a 1.
No, I rolled a 1, but I had more momentum, so I'm able to snatch the initiative. And I put 4 influence on Theron, 2 on Zarola, 4 on J-Car, 2 on Fahad.
Right. Okay, so here I go. I get my 1 little momentum, which means I can score anytime. Grayscales comes back in.
The Ag as
and
well.
And Hag comes in as well, down near the goal. I allocate 0 to Salt, 5 to Corsair, 0 to Hag, 2 to Vet Siren, 4 to Grayscales, and 2 to Kraken.
And I start by free charging Kraken. So I do 2 full playbook. So means I can do 2 momentous damage and a dodge, 2 momentous damage and a dodge, which becomes 3 because of the isolated target. And then I buy it 2 more attacks, and I'm able to do 3 damage and 2 damage. So the cat did a lot of damage on Kraken, even though he's it's on Corsair, sorry.
I was gonna say
it was on Corsair, so he managed to kind of murdered Corsair.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so here Grayscales goes. And we discussed, now at this point, I've got 4 minutes left on the clock, and you're up by 7 or 8 minutes. It's still horrible. So we do some where did they go, and then I realized I didn't have to use my thing, my GIC. So I just walk into melee. Steve is nice and lets me do some takebacks on that.
It's okay. It's a friendly game. It's not a tournament.
That's right. You'd do it in a tournament. Okay, no, you wouldn't. You're the friendliest whack player around, but you ain't that friendly. So here we go. So I am going to buy an attack on, I believe is that
Zarola?
Zarola? Yeah. And I...
tackle the ball.
Yep, exactly. I went to dodge, and on my second attack, I got a tackle. Haha.
And you did decoy as well.
Yes.
So I start with Theron, and he attacks knockdown Corsair, and with the help of the kitty cat, and I'm able to do momentous 3, and then another momentous 3 for the takeout on Corsair.
Yeah.
And
Corsair.
After that, I moved and attack Kraken to do and I'm able to do a momentous knockdown on poor Kraken. Still taking advantage of the cover, of course. And it's easier because he's snared.
Well, not that he's hard to hit to begin with, but
yeah, but
it helps.
Easier.
Every bit helps. Yep.
And then I use a Blessing of the Sunfather on Zarola.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to snipe. Actually, I do Blessing of the Sunfather on myself, and I try to snipe Grayscale, but I miss. But so it removes a decoy for the next person who's going to try to do something.
Right. So at least you burn that.
And then Kraken gets angry.
Mm-hmm. So Kraken is going to stand on up and attack.
Yeah, momentous knockdown.
Momentous knockdown, and then he gets 2 damage. Non-momentous.
And then I go with JCar, who's going to take advantage of not having the Dread Gaze on, and I attack Veteran Siren. I'm able to do momentous 2 damage and a double dodge, so I swing around and go away from Salt. And then I'm do 2 damage and Gut and String.
I miss Gut and String. Just saying.
Yeah. And then I attack, and I think I do 2 damage. Oh, that's the 2 damage and Gut and String. My next attack does some damage and a dodge.
Yeah, and I think you killed her at this point. Didn't you? Oh no, I activated her in clear conditions.
Yeah.
And I move on over.
And she triggered the trap.
Yeah, I think I forgot my Shadow Like there.
Oh yeah, I did kill her, and then she
procced her 4-inch dodge, right?
Exactly. But she's not really dead because she just came back to life, and I put the trap there, and then do back the shadow. And Salt did nothing and passed the clock back to me. So Arn moves, does Blessing of the Sunfather on Zarola, and that's it. Ag does nothing, and then back to me. And I go base to base with Grayscale.
Grayscales.
You dodge.
Yeah, I do an unpredictable movement, my 4 inches, because I haven't used my GIC.
Yep.
Thanks to your takesy backsies. And
and then I'm using my normal move to move into base contact with you by an attack, tackle the ball, and then I do a momentous dodge.
Yeah, and I counterattack and I tackle the ball back.
Yeah.
It was a good try, Steve. So here I activate Vet Siren, and I just clear my conditions.
And that's the end of the turn?
Yep.
So, I think you won the initiative, or I did? No, I did. So I put 3 on Ern, 3 on Zarola, 3 on J-Car for...
Yep. And I allocated 0 to Salt, 4 to Corsair, 0 on Hag, 2 to Vet Siren, 4 to Grayscales, and 2 to Kraken. So here goes J-Car. What's he doing?
J-Car, he moves, actually charge...
Hag?
Hag. And do 2 damage, or it was Kraken?
I'm pretty sure it was Hag. So there goes, there's me hitting a bunch of models. So I activate Grayscales, and I input movement up, and I sprint, and I tap in to score, bring the score up to 11.
And then I throw back the ball back, trying to give it back to Ern.
And here goes Zarola.
Zarola. She moves, she has the ball, and I try to do some movement shenanigan with Midnight Offering, and she scores.
Yep. Bringing the score up to 10 for you, 11 for me. But our clocks had run out by this point.
We were both clock out, and since next activation I couldn't score, and you got the point because I was already clocked out and you won.
Now it's important to note that we clocked out basically simultaneously. I clocked out a couple seconds after you did.
Yeah.
So really it could have gone either way.
But we, as you said, you were so up on the clock, and then I kind of took time and calculated too much and trying to stop you, and I wasn't able to. I measured a lot of movement, tried to get the ball, do some shenanigan, and try to catch up with you, basically, and I couldn't do it. So that's how I wasted my clock, I guess.
Well, let's not forget also, because you did all those takeouts, I had less models to activate. So that also helps me in a way. So yes, it gives you points, but in a way it may have helped me.
And you did lots of fast activation, like stand up, clear condition, and the clock was and I couldn't, you were taking 2 seconds, and then I didn't have time because
to plan your turn.
Exactly,
on my turn.
Because usually when you play, I kind of try to anticipate what you're gonna do and plan ahead. But when you just snap the clock back by just basically doing nothing, that's where you got me. Yeah,
it really works against you sometimes. Because if you don't have the other player's turn to plan in, it burns your clock something fierce.
Yeah, because you have to plan on your own time instead of using your opponent's time.
That's right, and if you start overthinking it, it really hurts. Anyway, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a fun game, and well, you're starting to learn more with Corsair, I feel.
Yeah, I think I did better. I need to engage him more. I need to have him more involved in the game. Standing back and pounding on Hearn is fun, but it doesn't accomplish a whole heck of a lot. I suppose I did get a couple points that way.
Well, I think that the combo of Kraken and Corsair is really good because it gives you the opportunity to have a double drag, so you can really move models around and place them in favor for you, and especially when they need assist and synergy more in other teams than Hunter, but it's good practice nonetheless.
Yeah, I just need to take better advantage of it. I think that's what it boils down to.
I think the model you're you need to master more or either replace is the ag. Because it's been a couple of times you've used her, but I don't feel you've used her to her full potential, or you haven't figured out how to use her truly.
Yeah, I need to maybe watch some matches where other people use her, because I don't quite understand. I know people like her, but I look at her and I don't quite get what she has to offer.
Well, you never used her legendary in all the games you used her as well, so maybe that's the key.
But she's never usually engaged with a bunch of people where it would be all that useful. I guess it also accelerates your own team.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider, which I don't think I realized until at the end of this game. So maybe next time. Like always, every game's a learning curve.
Exactly.
So we'll get there. Or I'll get there.
Well, thanks for the game, and hopefully I'll see you again soon, Paul.
Yep. Thanks for all the hard work editing this, Steve. And looking forward to our next match. And with that, I guess we'll sign off. So until next time, bye, geeks. Next time, bye, geeks.